Hello everyone, this is Teacher Dre, and in today's video I will be sharing with you how to create a lookup table using the index and match functions. Alright, so for our example, we'll be using the same data set that I've used from my previous video. So where do we use the index function? Okay, so to start or to begin with, let's type in equal sign and then the index. So as you can see, it is requiring three values. We have the array, the row number, and the column number. The column number is enclosed in brackets. It only means that it's optional. Okay, so for the array, for example, we want to get the first name. If you want to get Matthew, for instance, so we simply highlight the column that we would like to retrieve our data from, and then how to count the row number. The row number is the order of rows starting from the top. So if we're looking for Matthew, that's the third row, right? So we type in 3, and then since column number is optional, we can either type 0 or 1, but we can just leave it as blank. Okay, so we have Matthew. Now, if for example we want to get the last name, which is equal to Galvez. So Galvez, as you can see, is the fourth row in this array. So we just simply type in 4 and then close parenthesis. We get Galvez. Alright, so that's how simple index is. Okay, so for the match function, the match function returns a number. Okay, so it matches a specific lookup value from a lookup array, and it returns the row number or the column number that it matched the lookup value against. Okay, so for instance, we are looking after the name Mark from the first name. So we highlight the lookup array or the first name column, and then usually it has three options: the less than, exact match, and the greater than. But for this example, we are looking for the exact match. So let's type in 0 and then close parenthesis. So it returned 5. Alright, so it only means that the Mark is on the 5th row from our array. So John 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's correct. Okay, so if we try to look for Joshua, it's the fourth one. And if we try to look for John, it should return 1, right? Okay, so now that we have understand how to use the index and the match function, we can combine both to create a lookup table. Okay, so for instance, we want to create a table that automatically retrieves the following field: the first name, the last name, the middle name, until the address given an ID number. So I already created a list of ID numbers here. Okay, so for example, we choose 1, 2, 3. So we want these fields to automatically populate. So how do we do that? Simply type in index and then the array. So since we are after the first name, so we highlight the column first name, comma, and then the row number. So this is where we use the match function. So we want to match the ID number, which is 1, 2, 3, against the ID number field. Okay, we just have to note that whenever we are combining these two functions to create a lookup table, the row numbers has to match. It only means that the row number has to be equal. Okay, and then we want to match the exact one, and then close parenthesis. So ID number 123 is John. Okay, so for the last name, so we simply create another index and match combination. So we are after the last name, so we highlight the last name, and then we match the ID number against the ID number field, and then the exact value, and then enter. So let's apply for the middle initial. Until we get through the address. Okay, so that's how we use the index and match function to create a lookup table. Alright, so if we try to look for another ID number, say 345, so this should be Matthew Paz P, and he's from Canada. Okay, so there you have it, the index and match functions. Okay, so sometimes I get a lot of questions regarding VLOOKUP not functioning well when it comes to lookup tables, and it's because VLOOKUP has a limitation. Alright, the lookup value has to be on the first column of the table array. Okay, and that's the requirement for us to be able to get the correct values for the columns. But for example, we have this one. We have another column, the rank column, and that's on the left side of the ID number. So if we have the lookup value, which is the ID number, and we use the VLOOKUP function, it may not work well in this kind of example, but for index and match, we simply add the rank, and then we apply the same formula. So we simply get the rank array, then let's match the ID number. So ID number 345 is rank number 3. So in terms of flexibility, it's in the index and match is really flexible to use. So there, the index and match functions. Thank you guys. Now if you find this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much.